Hello, everybody. We're back with an episode of Trenton Chappell
Hi.
Live. It's been a week. It's been a week, you know. Um, but hey, we're here to relax and hang out with my good friend Zenia. I hope I said that right. I already forgot how to
Yes.
say things, and it you forget things in 5 minutes here on Trenton Chappell Live.
Okay.
And I'm very excited to have you on. I've been wanting to have you on for some time, and now we got you on. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, I'm Zenia. uh, I am so glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I know we've been trying to arrange this for a minute. I am, what am I? I am a musician, singer, songwriter, artist. Been doing this for a long time. Wrote like my first song when I was 10
Wow.
and just been that's just been my life. And on the side I do marketing and web design and tech nerdy stuff. uh, so I have a lot of things. I love to do art, and but my main thing that soothes me and keeps me going is music. Yeah.
So
I'm
music. Let's
mhm,
talk about music real quick.
music. What's
I
that?
am a
Mhm.
huge fan of one particular song of yours.
Okay.
It's I've been using it for all the promos, and it's favorite song.
uh,
It,
yeah.
I want to know the story behind this song because the lyrics to it sounds like you're talking about a guy. Is it about a guy?
Oh my God, isn't it everything about a guy? No, no, yes and no.
Okay.
It's kind of about people in general who basically play you on and on. And I mean, yes, there's been a relationship
Mm,
that emphasized that, but there's also been relationships that weren't romantic that emphasized that as
yeah.
well. Like, the whole song is kind of made in this perspective of a record where it's like goes on and on and on, right? And how it's like you play me like your favorite song, like it's always going on and on. And it's it's a double meaning, like play
Mm,
and play, like I'm being played.
yeah.
But also, it has a few meanings there. But I mean, I had a lot of experiences where I was being used a lot, left and right. And of course, living in LA for
Oh
I'm back
God.
and forth between, yeah,
Ugh.
I'm back and forth between LA and Washington.
Oh wow.
And I've been in LA for several years. And man, do you get a rude awakening if you live there? So that song was sparked from just having this repetition of all these different types of people that were basically the same and being played over and over and used over and over by um, this consciousness of just severe ego.
Yeah. Especially
you know
L.A. Like I think LA is possibly the most toxic place in the world, and New York is right there with it as well. I mean, I've been to LA, and yeah, the people are there interesting.
Yeah, I do. I didn't realize it would be that way until I got there, and I was like, oh, this is not what I expected. Definitely, there's like a lot of people that come to LA thinking LA is what you see on television or media.
Hmm.
And it's, television media portrays it as this very egocentric place and very self centered and really just, drinking drugs and blah, blah. And so those types of people migrate there and create more of it. So,
Yeah.
but the locals from California, one of my best friends, um she is just perfect. Like
Mm.
she's wonderful, like she's just phenomenal. So you know it seems like there's a consciousness that like migrates itself into that. And yeah, I mean, it's everything anyone would ever think because people keep going there that think that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very interesting too because I'm from Texas, and so
Ah.
when I went to LA, it's just like here in Texas we hold the doors open for people. We say, "How you doing, man?" Fist bump, high five, handshake. Go to LA, it's like you don't get any of that. You don't get hospitality in LA there. But you
you
also said
know
Washington. Like,
yeah,
like, oh, I've never. How's Washington this time of year? I don't know if you're in Washington yet. You said you're in.
I'm in Washington right now.
How is it
This is
up
my
there?
family's house. It's cold, which is low key why I went to LA, because
Mm,
it's close to Washington, so to my family, but also warm,
yeah.
because I really don't. I'm in this very like big sweater because I am cold all the time here. Spring has not decided to come as of yet, but it's very cold. And then in LA, of course, it's just so hot and sparkly. So you are very attracted to like that sunniness and whatnot. But back to hospitality, though, I just want to like point out that
Yeah.
that's entirely true. In fact, my friend who is a local is like wanting to move to Tennessee because she's like, everyone's so hospitable, everyone's so polite and respectful. And it is not common to find that very much in LA. And actually, even more interesting, my name, Zenia, means hospitality,
Oh wow, look
the
at that.
goddess of hospitality. And so here I am, and I'm so giving, and I want to give, and being that way from my parents. My mother's a meditation teacher, my father's a yoga teacher. They're very, very, we have come from a very beautiful like culture.
Mm.
And there's a lot of wanting to give because they're teachers and givers, and then I also want to give. And you go to a place that just wants to take, and you're a giver. Oh, girl, it is not doesn't have a good combination. You just
No.
get used, and that therefore my favorite song, which it's fun and like cute, but it's like from a lot of pain.
Yeah.
To
Yeah,
be
I get
honest,
that. And like it's similar to me with my I have a documentary called Inside the Musical World. And it's about me and my friend making a song from nothing and like making it. But at the same
Yeah.
time, I'm talking about my past in music because I was in
Mm,
band in high school and I was like I wanted to go further with it. And because of the organization bullying me, that's the
mm,
best word to use it for. And just being so toxic with the music industry and everything, it made me not want to do it anymore. And
mm,
it's funny. It's just and the directors there weren't even from Texas either, so
mm.
they were influenced from somewhere else. And it's just like
Yeah.
it's just weird. It's odd.
It's sad. You shouldn't want to quit your heart's dreams because of the essential narcissism. For the word has been overused, but essentially that kind of just self-centered, chronic self-centeredness,
Yep.
that shouldn't take away the beauty of what art is. And that's
Yeah.
what's really sad, is like they're replacing all this art stuff with clout and this
Oh my
ridiculousness. It's
gosh.
like, hello, can we just focus on the art? No,
It's
no,
so
no, no.
funny when you say clout too. Do you remember watching old school YouTube? Like when it was like creative and like
Oh
people would
my
make original
goodness.
ideas and everything. Now it's the same video
It was
over
the
and
same
over again.
video. I've seen so many people react to things that I don't even want to like. I need to create a YouTube channel again. I used to have one back when it was cool YouTube.
Yeah.
And then like everything just got so exactly the same that I'm like, oh, what do I even do? Like,
It's
do
either
I
oh, I'm gonna give this random person $100,000 if they don't let go of the
yeah.
car. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean,
Make original content, please.
hooray.
Yeah.
I know it's getting a little crazy. I don't know. But yeah,
Do
anyway,
you think it's
it's
also going
definitely,
into the music world as well? Like originality is leaving music. Do you believe that?
really.
Here we go. This is a good answer. I want to hear this answer now.
Of course. Are you kidding? Okay, look. So I grew up, thanks to my wonderful mother, on a lot of 60s, 70s, and early 80s music.
Okay.
Predominantly 70s was my favorite, but lots of like amazing writers, Joan Baez, like Neil Diamond, like all these
Wow.
phenomenal, like ELO, which was revolutionary, and people don't even realize how revolutionary ELO was. Journey, like writers, and most of them would write their Neil Diamond especially and Joan Baez would write their own music like 99.99% of the time, or they'd write other people that were famous music, like Neil Diamond wrote for the Monkees, or so forth. And that was a fun time because there was lyrical poetry and lyrical meaning in the 60s and 70s, when there was a lot of like, we want peace in the world, which we also have now. But for some reason, unbeknownst to me, there is not much mainstream, at least, that's come out to support those type of mindsets.
Yeah.
So lyrically, I think things have really gone downhill. I will say beats and stuff, it's like very 808. It's very like heavy, bass and very heavy, that, which is fun for when you're working out. I'm not gonna lie. I listen straight up to, you know, some this and that for working out. But the thing is that that lyrical component, that poetry, that writing of like a purpose and some meaning, you don't see that too often.
Yeah.
It's not very prominent in number one music. Like a lot of the number one songs right now have mostly to do with sexuality or hypersexuality or some sort of addiction, honestly. And it's sad because I mean I don't really drink, I don't do any of that, no drugs, nope. So um it's hard to relate.
Yeah.
First of all,
You don't drink? Hang on. You don't drink?
no, I haven't done not in a long while. If it's anything, it's like a small little glass of rosé or something on a
Wow.
very special occasion. Yeah, in LA, that's very, very hard. Let me tell you that.
Especially with like all that you do. With what
Oh,
I do, I
I
have to.
so
No, I'm kidding.
I went to comedy school, just to go off tangent, but like I went to comedy school at Second City, and I don't know if you know what it is, but it's
Yeah.
like where all SNL people went,
Yeah.
and I graduated there. But every time after class, pretty much every time, they go to a
A bar.
bar. I mean, always. Like
Yeah.
it's just the way. And I'm here like, oh God, like I'm brand new, and I'm like, I just want to finish this course and I don't drink, but I want to socialize. I would just get a ginger ale, and tell the bartender like, shh. And
Shh,
and
don't
people be
tell
like, oh,
me.
what you drinking? What you drinking? What you drinking? I'm like, oh, it's just, this thing I have. And they're like, oh, let me try it. I don't like it. Like,
You won't like it.
you don't like it. And then people would be like, oh, you seem like you're high all the time, or you're this and that. And it's like, I just, have a personality.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was really hard. It has been really hard to try to step away from all of that.
Yeah.
But with that in mind, people who have low key addictions to these things are hearing it over and over and over and over, because that's what lyrics have become. It's like continuous, the same kind of mindsets
Yeah.
of essentially things that are not serving us or helping us in any way, which is what I miss going back to original music, or back then,
Yeah.
that a lot of music, not original music, but music in the 60s and 70s, which had some sort of like, message of some sort. You
Hmm.
remember like even TV shows had that, like moral of the story
Yes.
moments? Like
Yes.
music would just play,
Like, do
and
you
be
remember
like,
the Twilight
oh,
Zone?
of course.
Like every episode
Yeah.
had like, oh, don't judge a book by its cover, and
Yeah.
it's like, and it would have something involved with the message. We don't have that anymore. Now it's just like, oh, look at
No.
this hot girl.
Yeah. She's great.
Great.
Congrats. There's
Look at this
many of
hot
them.
guy.
He's great. There's many of them. And the thing with me, and I actually was watching a lot of videos the other night of all these people that have um, like Tourette's or all these things that are going on with them. And I was like, we just judge people specifically on how they look and not what they're going through or who they are at all.
Yes.
Like, you have no clue what's actually going on in people, but we also don't support finding out what's going on with people. And I was like, oh, because I remember those TV shows, like you said, there always be music that would start playing and it'd be like this message. And it feels like the moral, ethical, or any sort of meaningful purpose of even lyrics or media in general has kind of fizzled away with all these people that make an enormous amount of moolah on
Oh yeah.
things that are
It's
so
just like
meaningless.
The Rock, for example, or
Yeah.
Adam Sandler now. Uncut
Mhm.
Gems was a great movie and all that, but like Adam
Mhm.
Sandler does literally every movie. The Rock is in
Yeah.
every movie now, and it's
I know.
like he just makes money, and I'm like, it's smart, yes, but it's different when you want something original. Like I just watched The
Yeah.
Green Mile. I've never seen The Green Mile.
Let
Just
me see.
finished it today before the interview, and I was like, we don't have movies like this anymore.
Yeah.
It's always just something. It's being something being remade.
Yeah.
So like I
Yeah.
guarantee you, in the next couple years, there's gonna be a Green Mile remake,
Oh, I'm sure of it.
And it's just like there's no original content anymore, and it's
It's
just
very rare.
it's
Oh, it's very rare. And that's why my what's your favorite movie?
oh gosh, Breakfast Club.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
followed
Yeah,
by
it's so
Grease.
good. Ah, okay, okay. You
Yeah.
got good taste. Oh, okay.
What about you?
Um, for me, I mean, always and forever, if anyone knows me, it's Back to the Future, all three films.
Really?
Absolutely, 100%. You can't even debate.
Wow.
Favorite films of all time, all three. I don't have a specific one. Yeah. And the thing is, I love time travel movies. I love science fiction stuff like
Yeah.
that, but it's also made in the 80s. So there's like a lot of like meaning and stuff. And if you've seen the films, it's like there's a lot of purpose and and there's a message,
Yeah.
and so yeah, that's my favorite. And then of course, yeah.
Even the part where Marty goes back in time and like his mom tries to get with him.
I mean, I think that Steven Spielberg movies tend to
Don't get me wrong, Steven
um
Spielberg's one of my favorite directors. He's like he
yeah.
influenced me to make movies and stuff.
Oh, of course.
Like,
But you're not gonna lie that some of his movies have that in it.
oh
Like
yeah,
there's a few movies that have that same thing. And I mean, but it's like, Marty's a cute guy. What can I say,
yeah,
Um
yeah,
but
very cute guy.
very you guy, yes, these honey's. But literally what's really amazing about him though, even though he's like very attractive, he's also extremely talented
Oh yeah.
and like a very good person too. And I feel like we're just all focusing on just looks and nothing else right now. It's a very
Like
interesting
what
time.
does Michael J. Fox have? Oh, what does he have? Um,
I forgot the name of the issue that he has. Oh my god, Parkinson's?
yes.
Is it? Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like him talking about him having that is very
Yeah.
powerful, but like he still wants to do stuff and like
He's
I
amazing.
he did like a when they did the on Kimmel, they had a thing on the date they came to the future.
Yeah.
The third movie I believe it was. On that date, him and the guy who played Doc Brown came back as
Christopher
Marty,
Lloyd.
came back and did a little thing for Jimmy Kimmel for the Back to the
Oh,
Future
they
thing.
would.
And he was
Hey,
talking
Christopher
about
Lloyd. Oh,
Mandalorian.
sorry.
Christopher Lloyd's gonna be in Mandalorian season 3, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
I wanted to
I
steal
was
your
like,
thunder.
by the way, that's funny.
Uh,
Obviously, we're nerds. We're like, by the way, did you
but did you
know?
hear about this?
I was so happy about that. But anyway, moving on.
But
Uh,
that's a perfect example. The Mandalorian, right? That's
mm,
original
mhm.
because there's no lightsabers. It's
Yeah,
about a random person that a whole
yeah,
new story that's been opened up, and
yeah.
it's original. Like you would never expect a guy with a helmet. You're following around this Mandalorian guy who's trying to
No,
save this baby. And it's just like, oh,
yeah.
this is entertaining.
It's very unique. That one's very
And then
unique.
you cut to Book of Boba Fett, where the
Yeah.
show was just awful. I'm sorry. The best parts were with Mandalorian in it. I'm gonna say it.
Best part was seeing a freaking deep fake of Luke. Thank you.
That one was pretty cool. Okay,
That
but
was
that had
cool.
nothing to do with
I'll
Boba
give you that.
Fett.
I know.
Am I
I
right?
mean,
I'm right.
you are right. You are right. You're not wrong. I'm just excited for
Kenobi.
Obi-Wan's thing.
Kenobi.
That's really all I care about. Only because I know Ewan will be in it, and that makes me happy. And apparently Hayden will be in it.
He will be in it.
So cry. But anyway, I could go on about nerdy stuff for eternity. So,
All right,
but
favorite Star
anyway,
Wars
favorite
movie.
movie Back in the Future.
Favorite Star Wars movie. Let's get this going.
Oh, movie.
Movie
Oh,
out of the
okay. You're gonna hate me because
out of the 9.
you're gonna hate me. You're going to hate me. I do love the original, obviously, because they're perfect. But with that being said, I do love the prequels, and I will say why. And I actually love all of them, so I'm gonna just
Which one's your
say
favorite
why.
though?
Probably the first one, based solely. I do like the third one. Oh, it's so hard. I love all of them collectively. Like Back to the Future, I love all of them.
Okay.
The reason I'll say all of the prequels though is because first of all, you don't get Qui-Gon in the second and third. So it's like, ugh, I love Qui-Gon. And second of all, it's the best lightsaber fight.
The third movie has the best lightsaber
The
fight.
third movie, of course, is the most like magical. So it's hard because, of course, it's an epic movie, but there's no Qui-Gon. So I'm like, I need all three. But
Yeah.
anyway, for me it's the lightsaber fights. Like that's, I love the storyline and the fun and the great things of the original, so I love both. But the prequels are just so phenomenal when it comes to the fights. And yeah, the writing or the directing, or I don't know, has some moments that are a little odd, obviously we all know this, but there's just something so magical about the cast and just the fights. To be honest, I mean, you don't see lightsaber fights in the original.
You,
Like, I mean, you do, but it's just
they're
like
like,
beep, 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 beep,
like that's
beep,
it.
beep,
Did you see that they
beep.
did an edit? Like, they're thinking about re-editing the movie, the old ones, or when Kenobi and Darth Vader fight, old Kenobi fight. It's actually this big
Doing,
action scene.
see, that would be nice.
See, I
I'd
don't
actually
want
be okay
that.
with.
It's an original. You can't change the originals.
All right, but it looks like they're just two old dudes. They're like, you know what? Fine.
Well, they are two old
Uh.
dudes.
I mean, yeah, I suppose. But if we're talking about old, then why would Yoda be able to do like the most epic fight of all
Okay,
time? You know what I
it's
mean? I mean, he's
Yoda.
kind of old.
It's Yoda. That's why.
It's Yoda. That's true. But
Gosh,
anyway, yes,
she's a
I love those.
nerd, guys. She's a nerd.
Sorry. Sorry.
I want
But
to talk about spirituality real quick. Or spirituality real quick.
oh, sure.
You're a big believer in that. Um,
Yeah.
and what concepts do you believe in? Like, what are you an expert? I'll say that in.
um. Oh my goodness. I mean, I don't think I'm an expert in any means,
Are you
but
religious anyway?
okay, so
Mm,
basically my mom is half half. She's half Italian, Naples, Christian,
okay.
Catholic, and half Indian, very like very dark man, um in skin color, and Muslim Indian.
Mm,
So like quite quite a match. And so she grew up with a lot of just, respecting all religions and very like open-minded and stuff. And my father, he's Persian Indian, Parsi, Zoroastrian. Basically, it's very complicated. But the point is, those kind of religions kind of meshed into my life and
mm,
became this like hub of the core. And my mom would always remind me that the core of all religion, and the core of everything, is light and love. And essentially, that's the core of it all.
mm,
Um, and then, of course, the morals and ethics that revolve around it. Um, so basically, I believe in that
mm.
personally because I'm technically like I've done the process of Zoroastrianism. I've done that whole process of very, 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 very old religion, and there's like 2,000 Parsis around. There's a lot of us, very small amount, but I don't go by that because the religion, it's very just light and very simple things.
Mm.
I mostly see it with the concept that as long as you have a good character and you're wanting to grow and you're willing to be a person of ethical and moral and integrity and those kind of concepts, then yeah, I like you. I don't really care what you believe in. I care what you're doing.
That's such a
I
great
care.
answer. Like,
Yeah.
as I'm Christian. I'm an Anglican Christian, which is
Yeah.
comes from England. Um,
Hmm.
I I'm a very Jesus man. I
Hmm.
go to church every Sunday. I work for my church. I do all the stuff. I help with my church and everything. But what's different with me and old age Christians, like the old Christians compared to new Christians, is I don't
Yeah.
care what you believe in, what you celebrate.
Yeah.
As long as you're a good person, that's what matters.
Yeah.
As long as you're not hurting people, I
Yeah.
I don't care. And it's funny too
Yeah.
because with Christianity, sexuality is a big thing, and I'm on the side of saying I don't care. I don't care. Like
Yeah.
what place do I have to tell you who you should love? Like I
Yeah.
don't.
And I
And
mean, I think I agree with that. And I think that at the end of the day, I know a lot of people of all sorts of sexualities and
yeah.
all sorts of anything that are terrible people.
Hmm.
And I'm not going to like you better because you are this or because you're not this. I just don't. I want to know what your ethical. That's why I believe so strongly, like, it's not about appearance or who these people are at the outside, because or what you or who you want to sleep with. I don't even want to know, to be honest. I just want to know if you're a person that's going to be morally and ethically nice.
Yes.
Like, I could not care less. I've met bad people on both and all and every side.
Yes.
So I don't think there is an exception to the rule that even some things are like, oh, well, they're better because they are, loving someone that they shouldn't be loving. And that's why it's amazing that they're doing that. I'm like, I don't know who they are. So I can't say that they're better for this or that. I, so we can't even like think that way, to be honest, in my opinion.
Yeah.
We should. But yeah, I totally agree. My grandmother on my mom's side, she was her family was very Catholic Christian. They actually disowned her for marrying a Muslim.
Oh
This
wow.
was like, a long time ago, 50s or something. So anyway, it was pretty
Oh
taboo to
yeah.
be in that kind of a situation.
Yeah.
So, but she still had, we still have Jesus in the house. We have everybody in the house chilling. Like,
Everybody's in the
my mom
house,
still
man.
respects, and it's beautiful in a way. So when I went out into the the real world, I was like, what is this? People seem so upset. Why are they so upset? Like,
People get upset over
okay,
anything nowadays.
yeah. And then everyone's also overly sensitive, but that's another thing.
You could say the
Or
sky
not
is
sensitive.
purple and somebody will cry. Like,
Yeah, I wouldn't say sensitive. I would say, what's the other word? Offended. That's the word.
offended. That's yes.
Offended. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's tough. Spiritually, I just, again, it's kind of the same thing I have for my music. It's a moral, ethical, like, I feel like there should be some meaning in our lives, and what makes you grow. Like, everyone's like, oh, it's about change, but change can be negative, it can be positive, it can be left, it can be right, it can be anything.
Mm.
But growth is different, and that's why growth always means up. It always means, you don't say like the plant is changing. Usually you say the plant is growing, because changing can mean it's dying. So the point is, like, for me, that's what I think spirituality should be about, and maybe essentially religion was trying to do, is create a space of growth, because a lot of people will go to whatever they believe to and just, like, quote unquote repent or just say stuff, and then they're absolved, and then the end.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, there might be a little more to that, because I don't think that's how it works. Like, accountability,
Mm.
you have to have those things. So I'm very strong about accountability. And acknowledging things in order to grow, otherwise nothing progresses.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Do you believe in ghosts? I gotta ask you.
Ghosts, that's
Yeah.
so random.
I feel it
Okay.
is random. It's Welcome to Church of
Ghost.
Alive.
Ghosts, man. Well, um, I would say, I mean, yeah.
All right.
I do think that certain spirits or don't cross over and they get stuck. Um, I definitely feel that that can happen. Because I think if you die in a very shocking way, that the imprint of your spirit probably would be stuck. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I could see that. Like, I feel like if you die in a very, like, not as shocking way, it probably is easier to cross over, I assume. I have not been dead yet. I mean, probably maybe in some lives, but I don't remember. So I
Oh,
don't quite, can't really.
you sure? You sure?
I know,
Uh,
I'm sorry.
you
But,
are. You're not a
um,
ghost. Just confirming
I'm
that.
not a ghost,
Okay.
as far as
Cool.
I know.
Let me write that
I
down.
mean, sometimes in certain groups, I feel like one. But anyway, um,
Me.
uh, but yeah, no, I definitely think they do exist. I used to see certain things like that when I was younger, where I used to live,
Oh,
because
tell me
I
a
kind of,
ghost story.
well,
Come
when
on, you got one.
in was a lot, to be honest. That's the
Tell me
thing.
your
I don't
favorite. Tell me the
really.
best one.
Well, there's so many, but the more interesting one, I think, is when we went to this. I've traveled most of my life. I've been all over the world, Europe, everywhere.
Okay.
Um, and so I've been to, like, some pretty old places, right, where there's a lot of history.
Yeah.
And we went to this one hotel, and it was a very ancient hotel in Europe. And I was, I think, maybe 11, I want to say 11, maybe. I was young. And I just saw, and to this day, I do feel I did see this woman in a very like a dress, but the bottom part was like poofy, right?
Yeah.
And it just looked very like old school. But I was like 10. I didn't even know what old school meant. I was just looking at her, I was like, what the heck? And I knew she had this certain hair color and I could see her. And she was just going, there was like this top level of the hotel, and she was just going around and around and around. And I was like, that's weird. And so I told my mom, and she's like, oh yeah, 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 I do see her too. And so then we we looked up the history of the hotel there, because back then I don't even think internet was a very prominent way of searching things. We didn't have these kind of phones, but and apparently this woman had died there, and in a very not very nice way.
Oh.
And she looked in the picture, she looked exactly like what I saw when the thing was, this woman was going around in a square. And I was
Wow.
like, oh boy. And that was more like of a situation where I felt like there was proof. Like I didn't feel like I was insane because I saw the same thing I saw. And again,
Yeah.
I was like 10 or 11, but that one was really, that was on the nose. I was
Wow.
like, whoa. I know you could see all this stuff. Yeah, there's a little bit of psychicness there, but it's not like a amazing thing to be able to see that kind of stuff because it's a little confusing.
Yeah. Because I'm a huge believer in the supernatural.
Yeah.
I've even made a nominated documentary about it, and
Mm,
and
honestly.
it's a fascinating realm to enter is into the ghost world, and just
Yeah.
like because there's so many types that people don't know. Usually they just think like, oh, it's a ghost. No, it could be a ghost. It could be a spirit. They're two different things. It could
Yeah.
be a demon. You got
Yeah,
those.
you know.
Those roam around.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, there's
it's
a lot of them in LA.
there's a lot of them in the world right now.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I want to ask you about one thing I'm seeing a lot on your Instagram, and you mentioned it in the beginning a little bit. If it's cool, let's talk about narcissism.
Ha ha ha.
I want to talk to you about this because as a person who experienced narcissism myself with my past, uh,
My past.
uh, why are you promoting narcissism? Like, not promoting to do it, but why are
Yeah.
you sharing it so much and telling people about it? Because I feel like you get what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm not saying like you should go
Yeah.
do narcissism. It's good. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But you post a lot about it. Why is that?
Yeah. Um, I actually had known about that word before it was kind of all over the everywhere.
Hmm.
When I forgot her name. Oh, that girl who was found dead, and her boyfriend had
Oh,
beaten her.
um,
Her name.
the van life girl,
Yeah,
Gabby Petito.
exactly. Thank you, Petito. I was like, oh, don't want to get it wrong, so I'm not gonna say it. But yeah, so after seeing all these things kind of floating up, seeing a lot of these, that other guy also, I can't remember names apparently today, but who had been sleeping with a bunch of women, and his wife like stayed, and he kept doing it, and all these things that was just coming up on the net, and I was like, gosh, it just looks so much like narcissism and a lot of just like mental issues going on.
Yeah,
It The thing for me is, not all of the things people think is narcissism, and that's why I think the word has kind of been overused right now.
yeah.
But essentially, of course, it comes from the story of Narcissus or whatever, the Greek fellow who basically, drowned himself looking at himself in a lake. And that's what it's based on. Like he just was
That
like, oh, I'm so into
something
myself. Well,
that's something that I
yeah.
would do. Honestly, I'd be like, dude, I look so good today. Wow.
Yeah. So he drowned. That's what's based on, basically being so self-involved that nothing else exists,
Yeah.
basically. So there's not much empathy, or if
So
any.
self-involved that it kills you, pretty much. Like,
Essentially, yeah, it would pretty much kill you. And it destroys people around you as well, which is the more concerning thing, in a lot of ways. But it is technically a disorder, and it's technically like, all these things. But I had experienced people that had, it's kind of like zodiac signs, where I didn't really believe all that until like I kept meeting the same person that was doing the same thing and they all were the same sign. And I
So
was like,
what
this
can
is
I
really weird.
can I guess what sign?
What sign of what?
Like the zodiac sign of like the same sign that you're getting.
Sure.
Is it Aries?
Aries, no, but I do get Aries. And it does depend also on what you are. So whatever
Yeah.
your sign is, you might get a
What sign are
worse
you?
reaction than someone else. I'm a Capricorn.
Capricorn. I'm a Sagittarius.
Oh, you're safe. Cool.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm just here to have fun.
yeah, Sages are nice. I like Sages. But there's not like a bad, it's not like, oh, I hate Geminis or oh, I hate this, which
Oh,
is
don't
like the
get me
thing.
started on Gemini's, bro. Oh, I can go off on Gemini's and Taurus. Oh
I
gosh,
know they're rough.
Scorpios. Like,
Well,
oh my
yeah.
gosh.
And it also depends on your sign. There's a whole
Yeah.
thing about signs, but my point was basically like, how you see this pattern basically, and you're like, oh, that's weird. So I was seeing a pattern of people that were giving all the same signs of this. I looked up what narcissism was, and I watched a bunch of videos, and I tried to learn, and there were such commonalities between these people, and I was like, well, sheesh, maybe this should be something we like know about,
Yeah.
because I mean, I've definitely experienced some horrible situations, and I can't just write it off as, oh, that was like a bad person. It sounded like this person had no concept of conscience at all, like had
Would you
no
say
ability
that
to even.
people who are narcissists are sociopaths?
So I looked up sociopaths, psychopaths, and narcissists, and they're completely different.
Okay.
Sociopaths are, I mean, I could go into it, but there's a difference between each of these things, and sociopath is completely like no empathy, zero.
Mm.
Narcissism is where they will basically, they know the game. Narcissism is a little scarier because they know in a way what they're doing, but they don't care.
Yeah.
So it's like basically the ultimate con artist, like, to be honest. And so I had experienced that many times in certain people. Now there's just bad people that were, they, but then there's narcissism, which is so much more specific. Like they just do specific, they would absolutely use you, like, and then blame you for it, and then gaslight, which we hear all the time, and
I
all
just learned
these.
what gaslighting was. I won't lie. I was like, what is like I never heard that before.
And it's good that this stuff is coming out, because the thing is,
Yeah.
like, you think you're crazy. So I was in a situation where for many years that I really did think I was crazy, because I was like, well, I'm being blamed all the time, I must be to blame. And like you just get stuck in this loop, and you don't even know what's happening. And
Mm.
that's narcissistic abuse, essentially, is when you're being manipulated so severely that you don't even know what is happening, what's going on. And a lot of people they'll have victim blaming, where they'll be like, well, you could have left. And it's like, well, just like any con, you don't quite know what's going on during the con. Like,
Yeah.
you trust to a degree, especially if it's someone that you care about, you're going to possibly trust more.
Yeah.
And some people have narcissistic parents, like, oh my goodness, and things like that. I don't, thankfully. But some people have, like, or siblings or things like that are narcissistic. It's hard to just be like, oh well, just disappear from there. Like, you can't quite do that. Or relationships. And recently I even had this musician this musician who I had gone to her shows over and over and over, I don't know, like every week. And for example, and she basically was struggling to find a place to live, and I was like, oh, you can stay with me, just please pay for the basics that you would anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Because LA is not cheap.
It's LA.
So we all know that. And she's like, yeah, sure, she evaded, she didn't do anything, then didn't pay me, and then essentially just left one day without telling me, and had been there for 3 months and didn't even give anything. So, and just used me. And it's like that kind of thing, was with no feeling of understanding that she had done that. So when I spoke to her, she's like, so what? Like, no understanding or empathy of that. And and it can get worse. Like it can become abusive, it can become so bad.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've been in that situation as well. And it's, and not just mentally abusive, but physically. And so there's a lot, and both are very, impactful, but, of course, physically is also mental.
Yeah.
um, but, you know, it can be so damaging. So the reason I was sharing so much about it and still want to continue to share about it is because of, I know how bad it can get.
Hmm.
It can get like deadly when someone's like that and has no conscience and concept of it. And I don't know if it's a brain situation. What they're still looking into, how sociopaths and so forth and narcissists are, because they don't quite fully understand how it happens. They just know it is there,
Yeah.
just like most things. Like, oh, we know the guy murdered the guy, but we don't really know why.
We don't know why he did it, so we're gonna sit
Yeah.
and think on this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's still a learning process and we're all trying to understand this, um but it can be very detrimental, this kind of thing. And I'm sure you've had your experiences, and I'm sure a lot of people have.
Oh yeah.
And and I do think that there's a difference between someone who's like a narcissist and someone who has narcissistic traits. And there's definitely a very strong difference where someone with narcissistic traits, I feel, has a glimmer of hope. And there is a possibility that they could become aware
Hmm.
of them. And it's just a severe lack of awareness of oneself. Technically, it stems from what I've seen over and over, is a deep insecurity and a deep, which we all have insecurity, but it's taken to the level of, I'm just not even going to care about anyone else
Yeah.
because I don't care about myself.
Good
So
answer.
sorry, it's a lot. I
it,
mean, narcissism,
but
sheesh.
people need to know about this type of stuff. So yeah, growing, I was growing up. I had a very rough childhood that made me the man I am today.
Mm,
Strong-willed being person.
yeah, thick skin, woo.
Uh, uh, but it needs to be. People need to know more about narcissists, mental health, and all of that in this world, especially nowadays.
It's funny to me that, like, I was thinking about when I was in elementary school and I was talking to my mom, and I'm like, sheesh. I don't know why we never talked about mental health.
I love how
Like,
back in the
okay,
day, like people be like, "I'm sad." They're like, "Okay, get over it." But now,
cool.
now it's like, "I'm depressed," and they're like, "Oh, here." And now they're giving out this stuff and trying to help
Yeah.
people. I'm like, "Why
But
weren't you here before?"
there's also still a stigma though. Like if you say you're depressed, people will treat you
Like
differently and
for
think
me,
that
it's
you're
stressed.
mentally.
Like
Yeah.
I'm always getting stressed, and it's not.
Yeah.
Like I'm an overthinker. I'll
Hmm.
stress about I'll overthink the littlest things,
Yeah.
and if like I'll be in my bed at like 2 in the morning, being like, oh man, what's that math equation that I learned like
Yeah.
4 years ago, and I'll start looking it up and being like, oh, and I'll stress myself out during
Hmm.
COVID when the lockdown happened, and I got laid off, and I would keep myself busy by stressing myself out to the point
Hmm.
where I had panic attacks. And I would self-induce panic attacks on myself because I was like, I'm not doing anything. I got to do stuff. And now, back then, if you're doing that, you'd be weird and oh, you're not stressed, Trenton. You're young. You can't get stress. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
bro, that's why I am stressed because I am young.
Yeah. No, I mean that's what's interesting is there's like twofold to that. There's now where they basically use that against you, which I've also had
Yep.
happen, where like, oh, I feel some, you know, sometimes it's scary to say you're depressed because then people are like, oh, I want to put you on 15 medications. Oh, you should be put this way, or oh, you're like an outcast, and like that's not what depression needs necessarily. Sometimes yes, but sometimes no. Sometimes it needs just this understanding that we all are on this planet and not any of us truly know what the heck's going on at every given moment, and it can be a little stressful.
Yeah.
And we have to have that compassion, but there's such a lack of compassion in that industry. And like even when I was in elementary school, um I they thought I had ADHD and all these certain things. They want to get everyone on drugs at that point.
Oh,
But
did you have ADHD though? That's the real
I
question.
never
Never got
never
diagnosed.
look it up.
I got
No,
diagnosed when I was young.
because yeah, everyone did.
I was the kid that was always standing up and making jokes and talking, and the teacher's like, he has something wrong with him. Let's contact his
Yeah,
parents. And I'm
yeah,
so against that. I was
yeah.
like, oh, like fourth grade. Like, I'm a kid. I'm gonna be dumb. That's when you're dumb.
Also, there's different learning styles. This is what really peeves me is that some kids do not learn the same way as other kids.
No,
Some humans don't learn the same way
I
as other
can't.
humans.
I can't read. So I can't I can read, but I hate learning by reading or
Yeah, same.
or
I'm the same way. Yeah.
or watching a video on how to do it. If
Yeah.
you literally like show me what to
Yeah.
do and you make me do it right after you,
Yeah.
I got it down.
There's different ways of learning. The problem, I think, when we were growing up, probably was that there was this thing of like you're different,
Yep,
not you have a different way of learning, just you're different,
you're
and
different.
here let's do something, and I was put in the retarded literally section of elementary school because for some reason they were like, oh, she's not, she doesn't, she'll not read the same way or whatever, and she, whatever it was, and it was so odd to me that they didn't really care. They're either like they didn't think that you had a possible different way of learning. And this
Yeah.
was when I was in public school. And so then obviously I left public school, and I mean, I would figure out math like that, and they'd be like, no, 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 you couldn't possibly do it that
Oh,
fast.
and then you're doing like a two times two is four, right? But now they have you like adding like, oh, you gotta take two ones, and
Yeah.
then two other ones from the other one,
Yeah.
and you add them up, and then you get your answer. I'm like, just do it fast. Like,
Four is
it's
the answer.
four,
Four. I
not
know. And
two
that's how I was
ones.
being like,
Like,
yeah. And they're like, you have to go this whole way around. I'm like, can I just give you the answer? And they're like, you're probably cheating. I'm like,
and
no,
then
I
like they're like,
just
oh, show your
figured it
work.
out.
I'm like, I got the answer.
Right, show your work. I gave you the answer. Can you just? And so they thought I was
It's like
cheating. They're like
two
this, and they're
times
like,
five. They want me to show the work and draw the lines. I'm like, it's 10.
oh.
It's 10. There you go.
Exactly.
Can I
I
go
know,
home?
and I know it was really bizarre, and I think that's one thing that I like. I hope that we get to the point where people understand that people have different ways of learning based on also different parts of their brain that are activated. Like you have people that cannot figure out a computer to save their life. I have someone who is my age, my one of my best friends growing up, that couldn't figure out a computer at all, because they always say like, oh, if you're younger age, that means that you know how to
You're
use a
more
computer.
tech
No,
savvy.
she could not figure
Wow.
it out at all. She was completely, and I've known people like that, their brain just doesn't get it. They're like, ugh. And I could, but it's like there are different brains. Like some people are more artistic, some people aren't. Like you can't, it's there's certain parts of the brain, so those people have to learn differently. Some people are visual, some people are, auditory, some people there's different ways of learning. And to say like, oh, well, you have a mental illness before actually really looking into it and saying maybe you have a different learning style. Let's
Yeah.
look at that. And yeah, I just think that it's a pro and con with mental illness right now. Like there's more awareness now. There's also a lot of stigmas. There's also a lot of disrespect around it. There's back and forth. I wish I knew about all of this when I was young. Like for sure, I wish I knew about all this kind of stuff. But even my mom, she would tell me stories about when she was young, how if she had any like things that are totally illnesses now, she had anything like that, like candida or anything like that, they'd be like, you're making it up. Like doctors would say that. So we it seems to be like a thing that needs to change that
Yeah.
we just immediately are like, oh, you're crazy, or oh, you're different or something, not, oh, let's see why maybe things aren't working out for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know
By the way, I'm checking out your website.
oh,
Uh,
it's completely a mess. I have to fix it. um
I do want to talk about your merch. Your merch, all right. I'm
yeah,
a
I have to
big merch
fix.
person myself. I got to ask you a question about something, all right? These
Oh god,
joggers, the
I know.
Lotus Dimensions women's joggers.
Oh, those.
You got to make some men ones. Those look fly.
I love merch, like I do, and I do web design and stuff like that, but I
Mm,
did it for so many other people. I totally like hadn't been working on my stuff.
mm.
So I do have to arrange all that right now. It's not purchasable at the moment, but yeah, I love I love merch. I
It's
love that
so
design. It
cool.
was yeah. There's a lot of cool designs.
The shoes are
I have
dope
some
too.
yeah, I have some shirts and stuff that I'm trying to get out and do so many things I need to get done.
Yeah.
I feel like question my friend was asking, is this recorded? Like,
It's yes, it is recording.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because she wanted to know so that she could see it
So the
later.
video form will be out today. Audio form will be out tomorrow. But yes.
Cool.
So we're
Yeah, so
entering.
the oh
Oh,
sorry.
go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go
Oh,
ahead.
so I was addressing the
Ah,
merch thing. So that will be up and working within the next week or so, and
awesome.
um everything will be up there. But yeah. Yay.
So we're now entering the segment of the show. So we're sponsored by a company called Poddex. Have you heard of Poddex?
No, what
Oh
is
my
that?
gosh. enter infomercial Trenton. Well, pod decks are these cool deck of cards that allow you to ask questions, play games, get to know people, and help your podcast out when you're running out of ideas, like myself.
That's cool.
uh,
Actually.
today today's deck is the interview deck. Is the black one. It's a bunch of different questions, but we also have look at this. You ready for this? The what the heck deck, which is ask random questions. The would you rather, which is would you rather. And then the episode deck. Now this deck is cool because it gives you ideas for your episodes. We just don't have any ideas.
Nice.
So when
That's
turn,
actually really
oh yeah,
cool.
and they're adding way more. They even have an app now that has multiple digital cards, so you don't have to waste paper. Oh. So yeah, guys, go to
That's big.
poddex.com and use promo code TCLIVE to get 10% off your first purchase. Again, promo code TCLIVE to get 10% off your first purchase. She's going.
I'm just gonna get 10% off my next purchase right now.
You're
Like
saving money, so like go ahead and buy it all. It's worth
that's
it.
that's 10%, my friend.
It's ten
That is a
percent.
nice
So
percentage.
I'm gonna ask you some questions from the interview deck, which is just some questions, honestly. So are
Hmm.
you ready for this?
I'm so ready.
Ugh, ugh.
Ah,
Serious mode.
stretch.
What's your favorite gadget? Yeah.
My favorite gadget.
That's literally the
In-
first question.
Inspector.
Inspector. That's a good answer.
Inspector gadget.
Yeah.
Uh, okay.
I'm not
I
that
can't think of
young.
it.
Like for me, it'd be my phone. Like,
Oh,
come on.
gadget. I guess that's a gadget.
Yeah.
Lol.
Or camera, or your microphone, or your recording
No,
devices,
I mean, I have too many
computer.
favorite gadgets. Too many.
Too
Too
many.
many
There's too
to
many.
number. Phone. Mic. Piano. Is it
Piano.
piano a gadget?
Yeah.
Electric piano is a gadget. Kind of.
Anything's a gadget because it was invented.
Ah, lamp.
Lamp.
I love my lamp.
My favorite gadget is the light bulb because of all the
Oh,
errors it had, and then the one fixed
nice.
it. Boom.
That's deep.
Philosophical.
That's profound. That was deep.
All right. What would be the best day ever?
The best day ever. Oof. Um,
Oh yeah.
probably being in Hawaii in a nice home place that's pretty and nice.
By the beach.
By the beach with my parents and closest friends, for sure.
That
Yeah,
sounds nice.
Hawaii beach.
We're very
Nice. That'd be
different.
amazing.
My
That'd be
mine would
nice.
be a day off from work and just no one calling me.
Well, I'm assuming I'm not working at the beach.
Oh, you don't know. You didn't say it, so get
Oh,
ready for all
I'm
the work
sorry.
emails.
I'm not working at the beach.
Get ready for all the work emails you're about to get. All
Beach
right.
work.
Tell us about the worst date you've ever been on.
Oh gosh, I don't even think that's appropriate for audiences. Oh Lord, there's only one that comes to my mind
Oh
at this
no.
present moment. I mean, I
Dish.
guess I could censor it. So basically, um,
It's Trenton Chappell live, man. You gotta say it now. You brought it
it,
up. It's the rule. If you
it,
bring it up, you gotta
fine.
share.
Well, so this was a mutual friend, and she was like, "Oh yeah, he'll be great. Date him." And so I trusted. And so, I we had several mutual friends actually, and that's what was even more baffling about this. And then he comes to the house because we all know each other. Comes to the house. This was when I had an apartment back in LA, different apartment, and we're talking about music. He's a musician, guitarist, la la. Cool. Seems totally normal. This is like a nice like at home type of date because it's just sometimes easier.
Mm-hmm.
And so an Uber was super expensive. Anyway, so he's talking about it and he's talking about guitars and it's great. Like cool, this guy's really nice, German, very tall fellow. And I'm not. And he's like la 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 and he's mid sentence, like mid sentence. This first time we've really properly met. I think we met maybe at an event perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
But properly first met, totally normal conversation like we're having here. And he just whips it out. Just at in the middle of an actual sentence. There's no, I'm
Wait,
not
wait,
doing
wait, wait.
anything.
I'm confused. Is it just you two?
It's just us because it's like
Okay, I thought
it's
your
a
friend was.
date.
I thought like you had two other friends. Like it was like a
No,
double
friend's
date.
not there. Friend's not there. No,
Okay.
I've been a little
What?
extra weird. She's gone. She's like wherever she is. He just whips it out. And I'm like, we did not this what. And I literally looked at him like, what, where did that come from? We're talking about guitars. We were talking about guitars. Like how I liked, we're talking about Fender and da da da. And he just boom. And I was like, bro, that's no sir. And I told him, I'm like, no. I think maybe we're not on the same page. I was thinking we were talking about guitars.
What page was he
I don't
like?
even know what page
Were you guys talking about
was.
electric guitars or like the like wooden guitars?
Oh yeah, so if it was electric, that made sense. Yeah, for
I
sure.
was saying I was gonna make a joke if it was like those like wooden guitars. I'm like, well, there's a similarity there. So
It's
I
true.
don't
That's true.
know.
It's true. Acoustic would be maybe make sense.
Yeah.
Uh, nope, not at all. We were just talking about like his career and
Gosh,
guitars.
what a
And
weirdo.
it was bizarre. And this was when I first moved to LA too. So I was like, what?
What'd you do after that? Like kick him out?
I mean, I escorted him out of the vicinity. He did try like come up to me like, "Hey," like with
Oh
all things whipped. I was like,
no,
"Bro, no, 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 no,
no,
no, no, no." And I'm like, "We have mutual friends. Do you not think this will be a
dude. That's
bad
I'm gonna go
idea?"
tell our friends.
Like, what? Oh my god, it was so bizarre. And of course, I'm like, "Hey, please, no." And
Oh gosh.
he left. I was like, "Is this what LA is gonna be like?" And little did I know it was gonna be much worse. Anyway, moving on.
I'll tell since you told that story. I'll tell
Your
you about
turn.
my worst date. So, oh, what year was it? I was in college, and
Mm-hmm.
I was using Tinder. I hate Tinder now. I hate it
Not
so
great.
much.
Yeah.
And I matched with this girl, and she seems very cool. So we're like, hey, let's go on a date. Let's go get some tacos. And she's like, I'm down.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, we meet up because we went to the same campus. So
Mm-hmm.
she's like, "Hey, to feel safer, can we meet at the campus and then we'll decide where to go?" I was like, "Sure." So we can meet at the campus. We meet, we start talking, get to know each other right off the bat. The second we start talking, I'm not into her anymore. I know. I was like, I'm not
Yeah,
getting
you
a
just
vibe.
know.
There's no vibe, and I was like, but she came all this way. I'll grant her the date with myself because I'm just so cool. And I
Stop.
really was hungry, so I was like, screw it.
Ah,
So we go to
okay.
get
Yeah.
tacos. All right. I kid you not. I'm not a very judgy person, but this. I feel very bad when I say this, but she was the worst eater.
Lol.
Like when you meet somebody you've never met, right? You try your hardest not to eat bad, and
Yeah.
you try to be like, oh, you're
Yeah,
eating
you're like
pleasant, or tacos,
extra.
you eat it normal.
Oh, tacos, right.
So
She's just like,
get ready. She, I'm eating mine like how you're supposed to. It's folded up, and you eat it like that, and down, down, down.
yeah.
She rolls them up, hold hand like this, one on the bottom, and shoves it in just the whole taco, like
She's a cartoon, is what you're telling me.
yes. I kid you not. My face was like this the entire time,
She's
and
like, this is what we'll be doing later.
I think that's what she was trying to imply at, which I was like
Low
not
key.
into it all right now. I was like,
You're like,
especially with
taco?
taco, like why tacos of all the foods? And
Ooh.
she had what else did she ordered something else where she had to cut something,
Oh,
and
yeah.
she had the knife. Let me get a pen to demonstrate. So she had the knife, and you're cutting, and typically you put the knife down when you're done.
One
This
would do.
this
Yeah.
girl would talk with her hands with the knife how I'm doing,
Oh, good
and
Lord.
people would walk by and she would almost hit them, and I'm sitting here like, what in the world is this girl doing? And I'm like, hey, and I'm like sitting here like, if this is her happy with her like, oh yay, I wonder what she's gonna be like with Mad, where it's like this now.
The
And so
direction of the knife.
the date's over. I take her back to her car, and in the parking
Hmm.
lot, she parks next to me. Right, so here's my car. Here's hers. I drop her off. She goes to her car. She looks over at me, and I'm already on my phone blocking her. And then I drive
Eh,
off.
wow. No frogs were given that day.
No.
None of the frogs. Wow. I mean, yo, when you know that it's no, you know.
Like you like I swear I knew the second we started talking, like that vibe was not connecting, and I was like, okay, well I'm hungry, so.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it's like, yeah,
And it
that's
sucks
true.
too because she was like, oh we should do this again, and as a guy who's like not comfortable at all with anything, I was like sure.
Yeah, no, of course.
If you
Just
ever
like,
seen
yeah.
Friends, don't do that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
No friends, I remember. I remember.
Chandler, and he's like, we should do this again
Oh
sometime.
yeah, yeah. Favorite. Yep.
Uh, but
He's
yeah,
like trapped in the loop.
that's my worst date ever story.
That's very. I have a deep visual of that now
Yeah,
forever.
so do I with yours. Next
You're
question.
welcome. I think we've
Thank you,
really progressed.
thank you. Yeah, I had a joke in my mind, but I won't share it.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway,
If you had your own movie about you, who would play you?
who would play me?
Yeah,
I'd play me.
you can't say yourself.
Sheesh.
Sheesh.
I'm not old. I can play myself. Who would play me? This is how you find out how pretty you think you are. Um,
Yeah.
I I don't know. I don't even know who. I don't know who could do it. I don't know anyone who's my ethnicity, so that would be difficult. Uh, eh. There's no one famous out there that could be as.
For me, you know, if we're going with how I depict myself,
Yeah.
I would go with a nice Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Straight
almost
up.
have the same face. Body
Bradley.
is not there
He's so
yet.
nice.
He is.
He's so
I hear
nice
he is.
also. Yeah, so there you go. He's a gentleman.
So
He's a nice guy.
there we
We
go. We
have the
match on that.
gentleman.
But if I'm being
See?
serious, I'd probably say Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill.
But like
Maybe. I don't know.
when he was funny, not
When he,
douchebag Jonah Hill now.
yeah, he's kind of something.
I
Now,
watched his
for sure.
he had a was it GQ or his like essentials. He has like his top 10 essentials that he has to have everywhere. Oh my
Mm.
gosh, I've never hated somebody more than when I watched that video. It's just
He's rough.
he was. I thought I was annoying with my brand. No, oh my gosh, I'm gonna send you the videos, and I want you to tell me
Poor guy.
if he's
I
turned
would like to,
narcissist.
yeah. Please send. He's funny. Like when he was back then, I feel like he didn't take himself so seriously. I feel
Yeah.
like he's changed a bit. And I feel like that happens to so many people. They become really weird once they achieve certain goals. Even when some people lose weight, they become worse. And I don't know how that
Yeah.
happens. I'm like, how are you worse?
No, man.
It's
You got to
not
keep
fair.
that. You got to keep your big self as the small self now, man. You got to
Yeah,
just
it's like so
transfer.
much more fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
what's happening? But I don't know who I'd be. I mean, I've gotten so many different people, but I don't know. Um, man, I can't even think. Like maybe I don't even know. You tell me. I don't know.
Um. Let's see.
I mean, I am an odd mix, you know.
I'm gonna say a nice Jeff Goldblum.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah, his acting even
Yeah. I
is
think he'll
what
get
I
the
could
character
really.
well.
Yeah,
Just you got to do the they say apartments.com.
I know, right? Whenever
Yeah.
he shows up, I'm just like, how is this person a person? He's so interesting. I
He
don't
is
even.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah,
Perfect man. All right. Next question. Who is your favorite hero of fiction?
of fiction,
Yeah.
like,
Like Marvel, Star Wars, DC, or
oh, that's so hard. Yow, that might be the hardest thing I've ever heard in my life. That's
that
so,
that's
that's
the
so
hardest.
difficult. That's the most difficult thing that has ever happened to me. Oh my word, a hero? Yow. I mean, I feel like, me. I mean,
Catwoman, I'm guessing now. The
oh yeah, because this no, it's difficult. Oh, yeah, it's weird. Most of mine are men. How weird. But I just
nothing wrong
realized
with that.
like Doctor Strange is definitely like on the top there.
Okay.
That's hard. Iron Man, Doctor Strange, freaking Obi.
You have a
No,
type, I'm guessing. I could see the
I
type,
do bearded.
the connections.
They're all
They're
bearded.
all
They
beards.
just,
Like literally, they all look the same.
oh, you're right. They do. Okay.
There
Well,
you
there
go.
you go. I didn't realize that until now.
There you go. You're
Um,
welcome.
yeah, beards for days. I don't know. I just like the kind of man that seem person that and hero that has like this element of wanting just this, you know,
Mhm.
which I loved about Obi. Like he always seems like he wants to do the right thing, and
Yeah.
I think I'd probably even and who does not have a beard. I don't know if he considered a hero though.
Go ahead and say
Probably
it.
not.
I'll be the
But
judge.
Kirk,
Kirk?
Captain Kirk,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
he's a hero.
I'd say he's a
I'll classify
hero.
it as him.
Okay,
Yeah,
I love him, so I'd go with Kirk too.
it's a good question.
It's a
It's good.
lot. Okay,
Yeah.
but your turn.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
W-
difficult, isn't it?
Wolverine,
Oh, also bearded.
because I look like him. I could definitely play him
Yeah,
better than
just
Daniel
yeah.
Radcliffe.
Wait,
Um,
is what? He's playing him? Wait,
no,
did I
it's
miss something?
rumored right now. Nah,
I don't know how I feel about that.
no, it should be me. Moon Knight, he's about to get his own series. Very excited about that.
Well, that's gonna be crazy.
Um, I'll even throw in oh what's her name? Yeah, I'm putting a woman in there. I can't think of her name, but I'll even say Wonder Woman
Oh,
because
Wonder Woman, yeah.
it's Wonder
She's
Woman.
pretty epic.
She's epic.
I would say I would say Black Widow if it comes to women because I
Black
just
Widow.
really love that film.
What about
She
Hawkeye? What about Hawkeye, man? Yeah, show him some love.
Hawkeye actually, yeah, Hawkeye. The actor, he's a musician,
Yeah,
actually. He's really quite talented. Um Hawkeye though.
gotta show Hawkeye some love, man. He saved New
Yeah,
York with his bow and arrow.
true.
Come on, man. And
No,
he never
that's
ran
true.
out of arrows.
I will always wonder about that.
All right. What has been the worst job you've ever had?
Worst job?
Yes.
Um, golly. To
Oh
be
yeah.
honest, like I don't know. I Hmm. I mean, I used to clean toilets, but I didn't even care. Like I was
Really?
kind of like, yeah. I honestly never. I mean, you just do what you gotta do, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, that was not fun, I would say. Um, yeah, I think that was maybe the worst. But even so, it's like, well, you gotta do it. You
Yeah.
gotta start somewhere.
I worked at my worst one was probably I worked at this pizza place, and
Oh, food.
I hated it.
Working in food. Working in
Oh
food is
my
tough.
gosh.
Yeah. Hmm.
One I was never good at making the pizza.
Yeah.
I always did something wrong, and people thought I did it on purpose. That way I could take the pizza home, which was partially true. Um, but like I couldn't do it that fast. I'm a very like
You
OCD
have to throw it in
person.
the air and
We
like,
had like so for me we had to. It was the dough would be right here. We would flatten it out, and
yeah.
then we would put it in our hand, and to make it bigger, we would toss it. And
Right,
what
right,
would
right.
happen was I would go too hard, and it would rip and fall on the ground. And I'm like, dang it, I gotta start over. Or I wouldn't put enough sauce on or enough cheese. Like we had to do like a pattern with the
Oh,
cheese
not the
and
sauce.
then like the pepperoni, and I hated it. I hated the whole process of it. And then the manager was awful. It's the only job I've ever quit over phone because I just did not want to go back.
Do you still like pizza?
Oh, I
Like, will
love
you?
pizza. I
Would
don't
you?
eat it now.
Okay, it didn't ruin pizza for you.
No, I worked at a ham store that ruined ham for me. Yeah.
Oh, did they like slaughter the
No, we
creatures
didn't
in front of you,
slaughter
or
it,
what?
but I saw the like I saw the ham come in, and just seeing it like
Uh,
that was just like
yeah, certain things kind of ruin it. A few documentaries have done that for me too.
yeah.
So
I'm just
interesting.
like yeah, I'm good.
No pizza
So
for
I only
you.
eat white meat, chicken, turkey. That's it.
Nice.
I'm boring. Yeah.
Same, pretty much. I throw a
Uh,
fish in there once in a while.
besides music, if you can instantly become one, what would you become an expert in besides music?
If I could be an expert in anything,
Yeah.
that's that tech. Freaking,
Tech.
I mean, I know it well, but not, dude. If I could be an expert, heck yes, I would be tech. All of everything tech.
Okay.
Just want to know my way around. Like, I want to be able to hack anything.
For me, it'd be music.
Because you're not.
I'm not a musician. I gave that up.
Oh,
But if I
way to
was,
just,
if I
way to
could,
just.
if I could just have rhythm, I'd be so happy.
Having rhythm would be great.
Cause I'm like,
I I agree with that.
and it's just awful. And it's
Well, but that's what the like drummer is for. So you just hire them.
so you have to pick one book in the whole world. One book. What book belongs in everyone's bookshelf?
What book?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh yeah. So many good books out there, but which to choose?
me being like I don't really read.
Me
Um.
either.
Uh. Me being like Anyway,
I'll say my
well.
script for my film.
Oh, good. Just yeah.
Yeah.
I was about to be like, my father. He
Oh,
has a book
heck
out
yes. Promote.
called Fire of Love,
Fire
and
of
it's
Love.
beautiful. It's stories on life and yogic principles and beautiful quotes on all these magical things of life. It's gorgeous. You'll see very old picture one in there of me when I'm like 12
Wow.
because it's a very old book. I'm not that old, but anyway, so that is what I would say. Um, anything that even my mom has, it's not more like a booklet, so it doesn't really count. But just I would say that I didn't really read a lot of books, to be perfectly honest with you. I love to write. I will never understand this about myself. Reading was never my favorite thing in the world, to be
Yeah.
honest. My best friend, she'd read back then. She would read just books on books. She would go through the whole Harry Potter series in like 5 minutes. Like I don't even understand. And me, I'd be like, no. But I would write, like you write scripts. I could write just anything. Like
And
I'm in the
like
middle
you
of a
write,
book
I'm
actually.
assuming you write your own music, right?
Of course, like I read
And
all my
it's funny
lyrics.
how that works. Like for me with film, I watch movies, I watch all types of movies, and I learn what they do. And I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, I'll just incorporate that. But books,
totally.
books, I'm sitting here like reading these questions. Even I'm like sitting here going, all right, don't mess this up. And I
Huh.
and like
It's yeah,
and
I
like
get it.
long words. I'm like sitting here like that's not a word. That shouldn't be one.
That's not a word. Can we just like
And
end
then
it?
I
No, I agree.
my mom says I don't have dyslexia, but I think I do because when I read, I things flip on me all the time, and
It's
I'm like,
possible. I have the same condition. My grandmother had dyslexia. She actually, her dissertation and she was getting her master's degree. I'm sorry, her doctorate degree at Berkeley University, I
wow.
believe. And she was a teacher at Berkeley
Mm-hmm.
University. And she, her whole thing of which like you submit something at the end of to get your doctorate. It was apparently like this big. They're like, we need you to shorten it. But it was about it was about dyslexia and how to help people with that condition because she helped herself from that condition. She read a
Wow.
lot, but but it's definitely it exists. Like I definitely know I have a little bit of it for sure, and I think there it's a possibility, at least in my case I've noticed it, that people don't have to read that much to be able to write.
Mm-mm.
I know it doesn't make any sense, but it's hilarious. Like I would get A's and A's and A's and A's for all my writing and I would barely read anything.
Yep. I remember
So
I remember having to I was in pre-AP English, right? For somebody who
mhm.
doesn't like reading, I was in pre-AP English. I remember never reading the books that were assigned. I never read them. But I would pass the writing segments. Like, "Oh,
Mhm.
what was the tell me about the tone in chapter 7 and like how that incorporates into modern life." And I was just like, "Okay, what was chapter 7 about, guys?" And they would tell me, I'm like, "Got it." And I'd write it. And boom, it was perfect.
Mm.
But then I would just never read. I never read the books. I would read the Cliff Notes versions
Yeah, I
because
think a
I
few
can
of
read
us probably did
the
that.
short paragraph of things. I'm like, okay, I
Yeah.
got it, cool, and then I would just go.
Yeah.
But
There's some people that have just so much joy in reading and that's phenomenal, but
yeah,
I
they're
just for some
freaks. No, I'm
reason
kidding.
I don't have the patience that much
Me
to
either.
do that. I love reading like I will say I love reading documents, really complicated documents on on health and how certain diseases work or mental illness or like going into like those very I think that simple writing or normal is
Hmm.
like a little too redundant. um and it's like, yeah, that's gonna happen, you can get kind of predictable. But when it comes to like data, I love reading that kind of stuff because then I'm just absorbing new like kind of information. So I never read Moby Dick or any of those. I don't even
Don't
know.
read Moby Dick. It's not worth it.
I don't know. I
You
never
think
read
it's like this interesting tale about a guy killing a whale? No, it is a book about whales. Like
it.
I kid you not. I've read the book. It was the most boringest book I've ever read in my life.
Yeah, I'm sad that they had you like had us do these books that were like I think it was
And I
one of
feel
their
like if they didn't do that, I'd be more into reading.
I
Cause
think so too because there was nothing that was like real things really like
yeah,
something of the flies. What was it?
Lord of the Flies.
Lord of the Flies. I did read that. I remember feeling massively traumatized.
Oh yeah. But what's funny though
Um,
is the books that they told me to read. I remember getting told to read To Kill a Mockingbird, and
yeah,
I
don't
just
read that.
refused to read it because I hate when people tell me to do something. And I think that's the thing for everybody is like if you tell me to do something,
Yeah,
I'm obviously not gonna go do it because it's like
yeah,
oh it's mandatory. But after I was done with high school, I went back and read the book, and it's one of my favorite books.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's such a
yeah.
good
That's true
story.
too. Yeah,
And then
yeah.
I read I read Dune,
Oh,
one of
like
those
based
the
on the
big book about spice and stuff, and I was like oh
well, like the movie that was made in the
yeah.
'80s. No.
And then when that
Yeah.
was
Well, I mean,
just
they
made
made a new one. Yeah.
yeah, and I was like oh, I'm gonna read it. And, it was a challenge for
How was
one.
it?
Good, I recommend it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like those kind of things. I loved reading Shakespeare, I'll tell you that. Like I
really.
love that kind of stuff. That I really like. I like things that were like challenging in that
Yeah.
way. I didn't like the books that were just kind of like very boring. Like even though I said like yeah, I read Lord of the Flies, I didn't really read it. I just like skimmed through it
Like,
to be
yeah,
honest, and I still was
flies,
mortified.
lords,
I
flies.
was still
Okay.
mortified. It was terrible plot. Sorry, but eek.
Yeah. Next
Anyway.
question. We're down to the last four. What's one bad habit you're trying to get rid of?
Okay.
Can you hear my cat, by the
um,
way?
no, am I your cat right now? Because
No, my
that's
my
you made a cat sound.
my cat is outside meowing.
Oh no, I can't hear, but
Uh,
apparently we're kindred souls because I made a cat sound.
that's
That's cool.
funny.
Yeah, twins.
Wow.
Uh, wow, meow,
Wow.
not wow, meow. Anyway,
I'm not
um,
doing that.
I'll be here all day. Um, golly, things that I would change about myself. Um,
Things unchanged about myself.
uh, wasn't that it? No,
What
am I
bad
wrong?
habits are you trying to get rid of?
Oh, bad habits. So, well, that's something to change about myself. Um, bad habit, bad habit, bad habit. There's so many. I don't even know. Probably trusting people too easily.
That's a good
I
one.
trust very, very quickly,
That's a good one.
very too quickly. Yeah, because I figure people have the best intentions, and I need to realize that's not true.
Yeah.
um, probably that, and also just like I need to so many things. Gosh, I don't even know. It just doesn't end. What's one of yours?
Mine is self negativity. I always
Self
talk bad
talk.
about myself, and it's for
Yeah,
I'm a very for me when I do it, it's out of jokes. Like, oh
it
my
is.
gosh,
But then your body starts to like believe it.
I go like, oh, I hate myself right now, and like
Yeah.
obviously I'm like not I'm like, and then you start like I'm not serious, but then you start to feel it throughout the day. Like, oh, do I though? And I just try to clear my
Yeah,
mind
no,
of all that.
negative self talk.
Yeah,
Yeah, negative self talk's not good. But yet being aware of things that we're doing incorrectly is good.
yeah,
But negative self talk is just hindering.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I sometimes do that too. Blame
I think
myself for
I think everybody does that though because like you know you do something and it's like, oh, I'm so dumb, why did I do that? And it yeah, and that's
yeah,
part of negativity. Like, you should just accept that you did a mistake, just learn from it.
yeah.
But no, we're gonna talk bad about ourselves, and like we're gonna remember that for years. Like, dude, when I went on a date with that freak. Like it,
Yeah, no, it's sad.
but yeah,
Yeah, positive, positive, positive. Well, positive in the sense of like awareness, but yeah, definitely speak true about yourself.
yeah,
You can't say like, "Oh, I love my blonde hair; it's amazing." Like you have to be honest with yourself too,
yeah.
while being positive.
Next
True.
question: what piece of technology do you wish existed? Speaking of technology,
Oh my god, like 10 things. But anyway, I would say probably the hoverboard and not what they call a hoverboard, which is not
I
a hoverboard.
agree.
But like an actual hoverboard would be nice.
Flying
I feel
cars.
like we could do that. Cars that fly, I still feel like that could still be difficult because of all the regulations that would probably have to come and like how do they arrange lanes? Like it would be pretty interesting to see how they come up with that. Um,
Oh,
but I feel like
new. I one thing, especially now, and I feel like you can relate with this. A new like besides electric cars, a new
yeah,
affordable way to
yeah.
get like not gasoline anymore, but a new thing now, like a new like solar
A
or
transporter is what you're
waste or
saying.
like put trash in the car and boom, you got gas.
I know.
Like
That would
gas
be like
prices, oh my gosh.
basically what Doc came up with this like well not last, but second to last version of the DeLorean where he just puts anything in it
Yes.
and it's gas, which is like cool. I mean, there was apparently at this some point there was a water car that all the patents got deleted from the universe
Of course it did.
way 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 back, of course. Um, but but yeah, that would be amazing. Like or a transporter, just send our
Yeah, boop. Yeah, just I'm there.
yeah. I
Like
know I agree with it. Gas is insane, but of
because
course.
you live in LA. Like isn't like
I mean, right
$10?
now I'm in
What's
Washington,
the
but
gas
to
prices in
avoid it.
Washington right now?
Washington right now varies where I'm at. It's like 4:30 something to 5, and there was
Okay.
one place we went yesterday that was about 6, and that's like whoa. But in LA, my friends were telling me that and sending me pictures of price ranges of from 8 to 10, and I'm like,
Oh.
I would just never leave my home.
Yeah.
And I find it, I just find, anyway, I would get too political if I go there, but it's fun. It's good times.
It's
It's
fun.
great.
We're having
Love it so
fun.
much.
I love it here.
Love
I
it.
love spending so much money.
It's so strange. I just don't know what to say. Everything's strange right now, though.
Second to last question. What
Okay.
are you most excited about right now?
Um, what am I most excited about? Sheesh. I don't know.
Any new music coming out?
I should be more excited about things, shouldn't I? I mean, yeah. I mean, I had a very tough past 5 years. Like,
Mm,
probably if I shared it, eventually I'm going to. It's very, 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 very tragic. Like like the worst thing you've seen in a movie, but in real life. And it was really, really horrible and horrifying. But so I've kind of just been breathing. I've been home just kind of like inhaling, just
mm,
trying to just, whew. I have been writing constantly, so yes, new music is definitely coming out. I've been since those last like favorite song and high, those were the last ones I did, except for this one song called Gotta Let It Go, which I did with two brown guys. And what was very, very sad, it just threw me for a loop, was of that duo, two brown guys, was this wonderful boy, Vince, who's 24 years old, and of course his partner, Ari. And the sad happenstance is that Vince died in his sleep. And this was 2 weeks ago, I think now. I was unfortunately unable to attend his funeral, and I'm very, 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 very sad about that. But that was my last song that I released was with them, and that was kind of my excitement. Like I was like, yay, this is out! Like when to start, sharing it everywhere. And it's a wonderful song. Ari is a phenomenal producer, and Vince was phenomenal as well. But it's just there's like so much strange tragedy revolving around right now that it's just like I don't even know what to be excited for. I don't know what's gonna just
yeah.
collapse into oblivion. But I do love that song, so I definitely would check it out if I were you. Just their whole album is really phenomenal too. That Ari released ahead of time, to celebrate Vince's life. But 24, like I'm just still
It's crazy.
like, what is happening?
Too young.
I mean, any death is annoying, so it's just like stop.
Yes.
But just for no, I don't even know anyway. So my heart is obviously a little burned from a lot of deaths recently and a lot of weird things that have been happening the past few years to me. So my excitement's a little like I don't even know if I have the energy to be excited right
Mm.
now. I do know I'm still writing and I'm still creating music and still doing it. So and I'm gonna start my channel, so that's good. I'm like gotta get stuff done, and I want to talk about the things that I've kept quiet for years,
Yeah.
because we have to start talking about things. And if you have haters, you have haters. See you later's.
If you have, I
It's what it
love
is.
that. If you have haters, see you later. That's awesome. I like that.
I like I don't even, so we just have to keep going because we never know,
Yeah.
like we don't know what's gonna happen at all. So I feel like in my sense of excitement, it's like I just don't even I'm just planning, but also understanding, constant creation and doing that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, definitely music's coming out. My, clothing's gonna come out. All this stuff's gonna come out. I help my parents' business, aliveandshine.com. Alive and Shine is their business. I help them, um, and yeah, I love working with musicians and yeah, That's that's my excitement, is helping my family right now.
Good answer.
And then music, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
What's your excitement?
my excitement. Well, I'm. What's funny is I'm taking. So last year, I made my first ever like feature film,
Gotta
and
see it.
entering the spirit realm, and
Gotta see that.
I really I want to take a break from it. I really want to take a break this year and focus on other stuff and focus on making an actual like not documentary film but an actual film like characters and plot and this and that. And
Yes.
so that's what the focus is this year is practicing with so many short films. We have so many films coming out this year. The first one that's coming out is Clyde, and it's my take on a thriller. And
I love thrillers.
and then I just I'm trying, knock on wood, I'm trying to acquire the rights to this old film from 1953 called The Hitchhiker, and
That
we're
sounds
gonna
familiar.
throw a lot of horror aspects into it and
Yeah.
make it fun. But yeah, we're mainly just focusing on the show and Trenton Chappell Live, short
Yeah.
films, and then hopefully practicing to become and have a feature film out on streaming platforms everywhere.
Nice. Well, hey, if you need an
I
actress,
got you. We got.
that was two. That's the two. Well, two reasons I went to LA was music, but also film. Like I
Yeah.
have this extreme passion for film, but it was just that's why I went to Second City. That's why I went to Beverly Hills Playhouse. I did a lot of acting.
Mm,
I love film. So I mean, as you know, we both have similar film likes.
yeah.
It's film is phenomenally impactful,
It
just
really
as
is.
music is, and that's what if you can, yeah,
Because
infiltrate
it's
people's.
funny with like I was talking to my friend about this. We were talking about music, and they're asking me, Trent, what's your favorite type of music? What gets you? And I'm like, see, with me with music is I don't connect well with it because I never, you know, had a real connection with music.
Mhm.
I was in band, yeah, and I really liked it, but I never felt passionate towards it. I wasn't gonna stay in it much longer. I knew that I wasn't. But with
Yeah.
film, I can connect well with characters and the directors and the writers and see like the pain that they have with this and oh, this actress in this scene has such good emotions. I can relate to this and it's
Mhm.
just I connect with that more. And they were
Oh,
like,
definitely.
everybody has a different way of connecting and showing emotion towards something. And,
Oh, for
and
sure. I
mine's
mean,
through
but
film.
but
Oh no,
but
oh
but
no.
think about the fact that without the reason I love film so much as well is those marvelous scores
Yes,
that create in itself character development.
like the for Joker, for example,
Hmm.
such a powerful score for just like this guy losing his mind,
It's
and
phenomenal.
he won an award too. Like it was just
Yeah.
so good, and yeah,
Yeah.
completely agree. I mean,
That character development is what I watch films for. Like if you don't have that, then there's really nothing. Like you can be heavy on a plot and it's like, okay, cool, but these characters and what's the emotion with even the music and how they interact with that. And
yeah.
oh, it's just I love film. Yay. I agree with you.
Last question. This is the question that we tend to ask everybody on the show.
Hmm.
It's a kind of a mandatory question. By the way, poddex.com, TCLIVE, to get 10% off your first purchase. The last question. All right. When you think of success, what comes to mind and why?
Oh,
Boom.
that's a nice big
That
question.
is a nice big question.
And I think of success in my personal viewpoint. I would say success to me would be the ability to impact others and influence others in a direction that positively inspires them to be better, grow, and achieve things that's from their heart's mission. So for me, it's not just like, oh, famous or oh, whatever. It's a it's an ability to impact others in a positive way,
Yes.
and help people grow, because positive, is a word that can mean a lot, but bring awareness to the world in a greater way. And I think that would make me feel successful if I had achieved that in some degree,
Yeah.
made people think differently, um, be more aware, get out of the box that so many of us are stuck in, and inspire some sort of growth in the world and change toward more important things than some of the things we focus on.
Yeah.
And I will absolutely say that money is very important
Yeah.
in that regard, because we associate success with financial freedom, and it's true. Money has an incredible ability to do unbelievable things, and I don't believe in a thing like, oh, money is the root of evil. Well, the lust for money is the root of of
Yes.
evil, and people are misquoting that. And that's the problem, because that's money has the ability in this particular reality that we're in, where that's the case,
Yeah.
is huge, has value because we placed it on it, and that value can reflect in massive important ways. We just haven't been using it in its important ways, really, not so much using it for to emphasize insecurities versus actually causing some sort of benefit to society, which I think that's a much greater success than like going to, Mars or whatnot, in my personal opinion. I think that it would be lovely if we achieved things on this planet and made it
Yes. I completely
happy
agree.
on this planet and didn't run off into different planets.
Yes.
um, and uh, so that, to me, success is a helping things be better than you left it,
Yeah. And
or
I'll
better than where you came.
and I'll back you up with this. For me, success is uh influencing people. You know,
Properly.
properly. Yes. Like for me, I was on this radio show a while ago, and they asked me like, when you're doing good, when people ask me what's some advice you'd give,
Yeah.
and for me, it's for my thing was this as a filmmaker, as someone who does film and podcasting, and they're like, what advice do you give? I say, just do it. I mean, like that, like that's
Let's do it.
there was a day I bet you with music, you were thinking of this wanting to sing something, and I bet you didn't sit there and wait on it. You went out and did it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that it takes. And with success is just doing it and telling people, yo, you can do it too. You're influencing other people to gain that success that you got. And you're not sitting here holding it to yourself, like, oh no, this is all mine. But instead
Yeah.
sharing that and advising
Yeah.
people and teaching people how to gain that. That way they're with you.
Yeah.
And it's a powerful thing that what success is, what you can do. And there's a whole bunch of stuff
I agree.
with it.
Yeah. I totally agree. And I think that and to kind of, you know, go with that as well, is where it comes from a place where your dreams or things that you want to do in life also are impacting other people and influencing people positively as well, and in a
Yes.
good way, because people say, I want to do this and that too, because I just want to be happy, right?
Yeah.
I lost you for a second.
Oh.
Hold on. I'm gonna wait.
Oh.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go. It's stabilized. It's unstable. Hold on. Let me see. Okay. Um, no, but like, because people say, oh, I just want to do what makes me happy, but like, make sure the things that make you happy are not coming from the self-absorbed or egoistic part of
Yes.
yourself. It's coming from the heart, like coming from that deep, that part inside of you, and not from like even external thoughts that are telling you this is what you love or this is what makes you happy, but what actually really truly inside makes you happy, which would in turn make others truly happy as well,
Yes.
in an impactful growth way. So I totally agree with you. Definitely just do it. That's why I have my new Nike shoes. Gotta support that mindset.
Yes. Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show. This was a very fun episode. We got to learn a lot about you and just talking on like it's so funny that this is such a rare thing now, a conversation. It's always just like this now.
Yeah. Yeah.
On your like, but actually sitting here talking to you, yeah, it's virtually, but it's just it's fun. That's
It
why I do
is.
it.
It's fun. Okay.
And
Yeah. Thank you for creating
of
this.
course,
So fun.
you're welcome for creating this and having you on it.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. Yeah. No, it's lots of fun, and yeah, I'm more than happy to do this again and talk about
Awesome.
other things. It
Yes.
never ends. There's always
When
something
you
to
when
talk
your new
about.
song when new music comes out, we'll get you on. We'll do a live show here.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
live
That would be
show.
fun. I'd have to have more stable internet, but yeah.
Me. But
Oh
seriously,
gosh.
thank you again for coming on. Thank you guys for watching. Again, go to poddex.com. Use promo code TCLIVE to get 10% off your first purchase. And we're going to end the show now. Anything you want to plug or add? Anything you want to say?
Oh,
Shout out. It's all you.
well, I would say, check out my music. My name is Zenia. Z is in zebra, Enia. And Zenia.com, Zenia on Instagram, Zenia everywhere, Zenia on Spotify, and all the things. Somehow it's all there. And support small business, family businesses, and including my family's business, which is Alive and Shine. And yeah, if you follow me, I post stuff and
She
more music
does.
is coming. Yeah, more music's coming up. I'm going to be in his next film, so check that out.
She is.
And so yeah, that's the main stuffs.
Well,
Um, yeah.
Zinnia, thank you for coming on. Um, if you're watching this, audio version will be out on Monday. And if you're listening to this, the video version's already out. So go watch it if you want to see what she looks like. I'm Trenton Chappell, and we're out of here.